Hello and welcome to Roleplay Rejects, where we play new and unusual tabletop role-playing games. Welcome to the 41st millennium, and in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Welcome to Wine About It.
Got him!
I didn't even try. I knew someone was going to steal it from me.
Too slow.
It was given to you. Handed on a silver platter. You're welcome.
Ate the
All
slow
right,
stone
that's-
fruit.
If you
Dude,
want to be
that's the
sore
thing.
loser about it.
That's Loki OP. I don't know how that guy loses, to be honest.
You
What
got to
kind?
get good, Wesley.
I've been good.
Have you been good or have you been well?
I've been good.
Oh.
I am good. My
Ooh.
skill level is good
Okay.
and healthy. Thank you for asking.
I wanna...
Speaking of video
Sorry.
games, thank you, Damien, for the transition.
Yeah, you're welcome.
If you play Charge Blade in any Monster Hunter game, you can summon me for any boss fight. We're boys. We're friends. We're teammates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why charge blade?
That's a fucking cool ass. Sorry, that's a cool weapon. What do you mean? That shit's sick.
And you don't like playing it?
No, I play it. That's why you can summon me for a boss fight because we're allies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So you're
So
both
you could be Charge Blade
blades.
Bros.
Yeah, exactly. He gets it.
Oh, okay.
What about glaive, though?
Glade's fine. I don't hate you. You're not summoning me though. We're not boys. You know what I mean?
That's
But,
a little fucked, though.
No, why you? What do you want to jump?
Yeah, it's cool. Gonna throw my fucking insect at you.
Dude, I know someone. She just learned that you could do that, and that like the colors do different, like give you different buffs.
How long has she been playing?
A long time. She's done some crazy challenges with the insect glaive, not knowing that she gets buffs from the different colors.
That's
Yeah.
why.
She's been nerfing
Wow.
herself, and she's really good at the game. It's it's actually
she's
crazy.
just like me for real. And every single game we play, I'm like, oh, that's how my powers work. And then Damien goes, Misty, we've been playing Pathfinder for 4 years now. How did you not know that the character you've played the entire time could do that? And I go, huh?
New patch, I guess. I don't know what to
Yeah.
tell you.
Not...
I was once missing an entire feat from one of my characters in Pathfinder.
How'd you walk?
And my
Yeah.
friends, I hopped to it. But and when my friends found out about it, they're like, "How did you not know?" And I was like, I mean, I don't. If I knew how I didn't know, I would have known, and therefore would have had it this entire time.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to tell you.
I'm really bad about missing large aspects of video games. This is not the same level as like missing a feat, but on Power Wash Simulator,
Okay.
I didn't know you could move the scaffolding. So I got pretty far into it before I realized you could move the scaffolding,
Oh no.
and it was really challenging. I did it.
So that
But,
just means you're better than the
There
average
was a lot of things
Power
where
Wash
I was like,
simulator.
I don't
Yeah.
know how we're supposed to do this. And then I had to do like where you just kind of randomly hop to try and get up places, and then you just eventually do.
Yeah.
But it would have taken me probably half the time. I was like almost done with the game.
Oh no.
The worst I've ever nerfed myself in a game was Pokemon Red on the black and white Game Boy,
Mhm.
right? I did not realize that I could run away from the other Pokemon. And so I was playing, like, I got my Charizard up to level 100. And I'm like, man, I got to kill more Caterpies. And I would just like
You would fight every Pokemon you came across.
every single one.
That's insane.
That's
I was like, your only two options are catch it or fight to the death. And
Yeah, I think I knocked out. Yeah.
Wow.
and
Joseph over here playing the 100% complete edition of Pokemon Red.
it was so annoying. Yeah, it was rough.
We also super nerfed ourselves on Spirit Island.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we did when
yeah.
we were playing that board game.
You act like we're never going to play it again.
Yeah,
Yep.
those were good times. Those memories.
No, stop. I love that game.
It was also months of playing Animal Crossing before I realized you could run.
No. I'm sorry. The reason I laughed so ridiculously about that is because I didn't know you could run in Skyrim for like eons. And then
That's
Joseph
awful.
was like, why don't you ever run? And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I am running. He's like, no,
RP walking
you're
everywhere.
walking.
I
Yeah,
only figured
Over
out.
here making it into a walking simulator.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I only figured out because I was on Reddit and they were like, oh, you can visit my island, but please don't run on my flowers. And I was like, what does that mean? And then I was just like, so I like looked into it, and it was like, I was like 2 or 3 months in, and it was like, yeah, just hold B to run. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's why we need to bring back loading screens so you can get
Yo.
random tips you don't know on a
Yeah.
random loading screen and be like, I'm 50% through this game. I didn't know you could jump.
Doesn't
Like, you know what I
Skyrim
mean?
have that?
Yeah.
Yes, but now
But
our
But I
Xbox
guess
is
it's
It's too fast, yeah.
So and
Oh.
because I am slow at reading, I get through like 3 words and then it's like, oh, it's
like-
loaded,
Press down.
and I'm like, oh,
That's why you got to play. That's why games have to do like Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, where when the loading screen's done, you press A to go into the next scene, so you can
yeah.
read all the cool tips that pop up.
I would appreciate that for sure.
That's what Horizon's like.
Zero Dawn.
And Forbidden West. I nodded.
For all you
Audio listeners.
audio listeners out there, which is all
Also
of you.
for me.
Yeah.
Not us.
Yeah, I think the time that I got nerfed the most was I played Arkham Horror with a friend. We were playing with like a bunch of friends, and the person who was running it forgot to take out that one monster that is just infinite life and infinite power.
Oh,
And of course, our luck happened to be that we drew that monster. So you go through the entire game, and then when like the old one is like revealed, if it happens to be this one monster, it's infinite life. It's like it has the infinity sign on its life and power.
Oof.
So it's just like you lose. And all of us were just like, what did we just do this like 2 hours of play for? Like to set up for us to just like instant lose because we happen to flip this card. He's like, oh yeah, you're supposed to take that one out because it's just the show that like that could happen. And we're like, all right, well, I'm never playing this game again because
that's understandable.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate because I'm sure like the game is fun if you actually could, I don't know, win.
yeah,
I don't know,
exactly.
man, I like losing.
I like losing, but I like there to be the potential.
Yeah,
to
true,
win,
true.
right?
Having
Like,
a shot is pretty cool.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I love a tragic hero. That's like you struggle against the man, and it's never gonna like.
Yeah, I've read 1984.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel like that's too much like real life with me. So
Yeah, true, true. I'm trying to role play. What?
Yeah, exactly. I
escape
like to have
reality.
a chance of winning. You know? Ooh,
Today's sponsor,
crispy.
Fresca.
Speaking
Bro.
of 1984, speaking of Power Wash Simulators DLC,
Okay.
Oh,
speaking of struggling against the man and not winning,
Wait, do something I said.
struggling against
Chocolate.
fighting games.
Speaking of
Yeah.
Fresca,
Grand Blue
Uh,
Fantasy.
Speaking of all of that, welcome to today's session 04 Warhammer Imperium Maledictum with
woo,
special guest star Phil
Wesley.
the Glacial
Oh.
Geek. Yeah, what's
Hello.
Wesley.
Happy to be here.
Hello. Thank you guys for having me. I've a longtime listener, first time commenter. But thank you guys for having me along on this. This is exciting. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, so I know that you are a pretty prevalent content creator. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I am Phil the Glacial Geek. You can find me predominantly on my YouTube channel, the Glacial Geek. Just look for a logo. I'm sure that maybe there's a link in the show notes.
There'll be a link. Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
link in the show
Yes,
notes, for sure.
link in the show notes.
Editor's
Now that
cut,
I've said
so-
it, they have to do it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
that's the hack.
That's the rule.
Yeah,
You
I
can't
made
make
it.
you a
I've
liar.
made it canon. They have to put it
Yeah.
in there. Yeah. So just go to YouTube and Google the Glacial Geek, and you'll see me. I do mostly Warhammer 40K content. So I've been transitioning from battle reports to more discussions about the game and other wargaming things, and painting tutorials and kit bashing, and basically everything within the hobby realm of wargaming. And I'm also a member of the Army Painters Factory team. So I'm a sponsored content producer for the Army Painters. So I go to a bunch of events for them and do things with them, which is very exciting and been a lot of fun. So if you are there, feel free to, if you're looking for paints, go check them out because I really like their stuff. This is you said to make like a bunch of plugs that were just like completely egregious, right? That's what we wanted.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I started out being a geek with role playing, so I'm very excited to actually make content with role playing, since that was the first time I became a geek was 20 something years ago, role playing with friends. So I'm excited to be doing that here with you guys.
Hell yeah. Yeah, just for, I don't know, I guess background lore on us. We met Phil at Nova Open.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't because I was
Yeah.
busy slaving away.
Okay.
You were
okay.
running games.
You were running
were
games,
loving
which is
every
your
second.
He
I
was
was
at a
loving every
convention
second
playing
of it, yeah.
games. Oh no, unlucky.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the honor and the privilege to meet a bunch of these guys there, and we talked, and they made the mistake of inviting me to come play a game with them. So
Nah, definitely not a mistake.
you say that now.
We'll
Well,
see.
one of the things that, besides just meeting you, that got us really excited, because like you're just a really awesome person to be around. So we were like, oh, he'd be really fun to work with. But one of the other things that came up, honestly, way later, was the fact that you started playing role playing games with Vampire the Masquerade, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I
Which
did.
it was really intriguing to us, because usually the answer is D&D.
Yep.
And so we were like, one of us, like
Mhm.
someone who's into games, that role playing games in particular, that are new and unusual,
Yeah.
like our tagline.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of different ones. So most of my role playing experience has been with like the World of Darkness game system. So vampire, mage, werewolf, those kind of games. We did that for many years. Those are the only kind of games we played. I've played a couple games of Dungeons and Dragons, a little bit of 3.5 and a little bit of I think I did like
Rip.
a couple times of 4.0. I was never very good at doing those systems for some reason. I don't know, like just like the leveling system for me, it was always easier to work with like experience points when I was building things. So that's always just the way I always like to do that. But since then I've done a bunch of the Star Wars Fantasy Flight games. I've done a
We
bunch of
love that
those.
system.
I've done Deadlands. That's a lot of fun. I've done a bunch of
Cool.
Deadlands. Really like that one. I've done Oh man, I've done Dread. I've done like a Mutants and Masterminds. I did like one game or one
Cool.
one like couple games
shot.
of Mutants and Masterminds. Yeah, like a one shot basically. So yeah, I've played, for someone that's been doing role playing for like 20 something years. I've done a surprisingly little amount of Dungeons and Dragons, so it seemed like a very good,
I'm sure other people
working
have
here
you
with you
covered
guys.
in that regard.
Yeah, there's one or two people playing that game, so
Yeah.
But yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna be getting into some Warhammer Imperium Maledictum, where we're going to stray away from the glory of the Emperor's angels, the Adeptus Astartes landing down, enacting glorious war. We're straying away from that. We're coming down to, well, you all, the dredges of society in the Imperium, who are going to be uplifted by a benefactor, your patron. But before we begin, we need to discuss safety tools. So we discussed this a little bit off mic, but we're going to be running with the X card system. If you're unfamiliar with that one, it is simply, sometimes you will have a physical card with just an X on it that you can flash, saying that you're uncomfortable with the things being discussed. We're going to just be doing like an X across our chest, saying like, hey, we're uncomfortable with whatever's going on. And me as the GM, I will shut the fuck up and move on.
X gonna give it to you.
Yeah, X gonna give it to you.
Right.
Yeah, with that, do we have any questions before we begin?
Is your refrigerator running?
No.
Oof. That sucks. You should save your food.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right.
That's it.
So first, Warhammer. Warhammer is a very, 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 very expansive lore setting. There is hundreds and I think there's probably Are they up to 1,000 books now? I
I'm
mean, there's
sure.
at least hundreds of.
Yeah, the other day I was like, oh, maybe I'll go read the Horus Heresy before we play this game, and I went and looked it up. It's like 45 books.
Oh.
It's still being
Golly.
written.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Like,
they
Maybe
just
it's
finished.
audiobook.
It hasn't happened
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just finished. They just
Oh.
finished the
Oh, now you
Horus
can pick it
Heresy
up.
with the
There we go.
yeah, with the solar. They so I haven't read all of the Horus Heresy books. I read the first one, which is very good, and then I started reading from the Siege of Terra part that they have
Cool.
there. It just tells like about the whole siege on Terra, which is it was fantastic. I really like them. So
Okay.
but that just finished up. So if you just want to get like a basic background of that's like Warhammer 40K history, and then if you go in the Warhammer 40K like actual books there, they've got like what's currently happening in the world of Warhammer 40K, which is vast and crazy and insane and a lot of fun.
Wow.
I am going to do my best to summarize. Just high level stuff. I'm going to glaze over so much, but just so that then you all and listeners kind of get an idea of what's going on. So hey, we're all sitting here on Earth in year 20, like the millennia 2000, right?
21st
21st century.
21st century, whatever.
century.
Yeah, words mean things sometimes. The idea is that from our current state of existence, humanity continues to advance technologically and grows to a point where we start to expand out from our home planet and colonize the galaxy. And as we're advancing and creating more and more technologies, we get AI, and AI has been incredibly helpful for us. We're pretty much the most powerful. We're at the most powerful point in human history. Massive mech-like titans that have been created. All sorts of bizarre and crazy technologies. And then the classic. You have AI. What's the AI going to do?
Uprise.
Uprise.
Revolt.
Revolt for sure. They basically fuck up the whole human empire that has been expanding out up until this point, causing all of these different colonies and different worlds to become disconnected from one another. Some planets have descended down into like tribal savagery. Others sometimes manage to hang on to quite a bit of technology and are a bit more advanced than others. Either way, though, they are quite far removed from one another. And this ripples all the way back to here on Earth, where we're now calling Terra. And on Terra, there's barbarians and shit going along, and all of a sudden, out from the rubble comes the man, the myth, the legend himself, the God Emperor of mankind. Although he's just simply known as the Emperor at this point in time. He retakes Terra. He then extends out and starts reclaiming planet after planet on this great crusade, trying to reunify all planets under this new imperial rule. So he does this. He makes genetic super soldiers. That's where you get space marines, and he uses them to kind of enact this plan going through. It's brutal, it's bloody, but god damn it, one way or another, those planets are going to submit to imperial rule, to his rule. Millennia go by, and suddenly this one guy, Horus, one of these genetically modified super soldiers, technically a Primarch, but we're not going to get into all of that right now. He starts to become corrupted by this outside influence. See, overlaying all of the worlds, all of normal existence, is the immaterial space that has a bunch of corrupting influences, these chaos gods who like to meddle with humans. So, Horus, this Primarch, this insanely powerful general of the Emperor, gets corrupted and brings some of his brothers with him into this kind of like corruption, and thus enacts the Horus Heresy, where the Imperium is fighting itself. After that is all done, the Horus ends up getting a mortal blow on the Emperor himself, and the Emperor is then interred onto this place called the Golden Throne. Now, to keep in mind, during his whole crusade, the Emperor's been like, religion is bad, guys. Do not do any fucking religion because this might open you up to. He doesn't actually say this, but it's kind of like between the lines. It can open you up to like chaos and all of this other heretical worship. Well, he can't go out and tell anyone anything because he's interred on the Golden Throne as a corpse of himself, half, like not even half, like barely alive, sitting there. And thus religion pops up around the God Emperor of mankind. Religion then spreads out, and now it is the state religion. Everyone must follow in the Emperor's light. So much so that there's like whole miracles that happen because of everyone's collective belief in his divine faith. And that pretty much brings us up to the 41st millennium, where we have this fascist dictatorship overseeing all of these millions of worlds spread all across the galaxy. The Imperium is being assaulted by different alien races, Xenos filth, Xenos scum, as seen by the Imperium. They're all assaulting them. The Chaos Gods have not stopped their meddling, and they're still assaulting. The Traitor Legions, as they're called now, those who followed Horus in his assault against the Imperium, they're also trying to attack the Imperium. So there's war from all sides, all the time, always, always, always.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sick.
I don't know. I mean, did I miss any like super key points, Phil?
No, I think you worked in all the key points. That's pretty good. I mean, this lore has been developing since like 1987, so
Yeah.
it's had like 1 or 2 years or decades to flesh itself out. So
Yeah,
that was a
it
good
is
rundown.
dense. I would highly recommend reading whatever you're interested in and stemming out from there.
Yeah.
I started with Gene Stealer Cults just because I love Gene Stealer Cults. Day of Ascension, fantastic book.
Really good book. Really good book.
Yeah.
I agree.
There's a lot of the stuff on Audible. I was looking at it,
Mhm.
and I looked up Horus Heresy, and I kept on scrolling and scrolling, and then it would stop, and I was like, "Oh, this must be the." And then it loaded more, and I was scrolling. There's a lot.
Really
Yeah.
quick aside: was the first century the years 1 to 99? Is that why we're on the 21st century now?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's I hate that number in
So
convention.
when you think about how we do like dates where BCE started at year 0 and then everything before I lied. AD starts at 0 and everything before was BCE. That's part of the reason that we have the centuries like off, because the first century started from 0 to
99.
yeah.
I just wish that was the 0th century.
It confused me so much as a kid. I was like, "What is
I just
the
never put
21st century? The future?"
I just never put it together until this moment when we were talking about blah 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 21st century, and I was like, oh yeah, 0 is a number. That's probably why.
The 40K.
So
30?
we are in the 41st millennium.
Okay, 40K.
Yeah.
Yes.
40K.
So
the
right now
41st
Yeah,
millennium.
same deal,
Yeah.
but way in the future.
And us recorders here we're in the 3rd millennium. So
Yeah.
Ew.
I've never thought about that before. That like blew my
I
mind.
hadn't.
What is?
Yeah.
I can't do that much
years.
math. No, it's 10,000 years, right?
No, it's 1,000.
Millennium is 1,000.
No, you're right.
Millennium is 1,000 years. Yeah.
That's
Everyone's
why
right
we're
with me.
called millennials.
Whoa.
Yeah.
There's so much time lore.
Yeah.
Father Time must be old.
Yeah. So the current state of the Imperium, it is filled with bureaucracy. It's filled with noble houses. It's filled with dredges such as yourselves, who are working in whatever way they can to serve the God Emperor. This could be that you're stationed on a planet that's entirely devoted to smelting iron, and that is the planet's entire purpose. all the way to like agricultural worlds or agri worlds that produce food for other planets, like that one who would smelt ore, because it's kind of divided up like in that kind of a way where entire planets are dedicated to a form of industry.
Oh, like Hunger Games, but
Yeah.
planets instead
Yeah.
of districts.
Yeah, it's actually exactly like that.
Rip.
This doesn't
To
seem
include
efficient.
like District 1 in Hunger Games, where they're more like the noble kind of ones who literally just exist
The
because
administrators.
the administrators, yeah, there's entire worlds dedicated to administration, which is fun.
And shrine
Pleasure
worlds and
for the nobles.
death worlds that people just
Death
get buried
worlds.
on, and then ones, and also death worlds where like the planets are trying to eat people, and then there's like
Oh.
Terra, which doesn't do literally
Australia.
anything except have like exactly. And you laugh about that, but they talk about that basically Australia is like a death world basically.
I'm so sorry to our Australian listeners.
Mhm.
Sure, it's nice.
I think it sounds sick.
It really does, but then you also see signs that's like, hello, it's going to be like 1 billion kilometers, miles, whatever you guys use, before anything ever happens again. Do not get out of your car.
You'll get eaten.
It's like traveling in the warp.
It is like traveling in the warp. All travel to and from different planets has to be done by sending your ship into the immaterial space where it's surrounded by, demons and chaos energy and all sorts of shenanigans like that, where time doesn't actually matter, and you could pop out 1,000 years in the past or a millennia in the future.
It sounds like when you take a nap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so-
literally exactly like that. You
Okay.
get it.
Or you can arrive before you even left.
Yeah.
That's
What?
fun.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is grim dark. If you think that something is good, you're not looking hard enough at it.
Oh no.
Or waited long enough.
Or, or waited long enough.
I love the demons.
Yeah, the demons are cool.
And they love you.
What a heretic.
Wholesome.
They're so cool.
We could talk probably for another millennia
Oh, yeah.
about Warhammer lore, but
And
I
we
think-
will.
and we will. I think we start with some patron creation. So how this game goes is we're going to be creating the patron who has uplifted you all from the muck to serve whatever their purpose may be. This purpose can be anything from needing to just have someone go and fetch some artifact on some random planet, investigating some rumors that they just don't have the time or they just don't feel like investigating themselves. I mean, after all, they're nobles. They're much more worthy than you are. So they'll send you off on whatever random task on that, or they might even just send you to go and assassinate a political opponent because I mean, you won't be connected to them. You're nothing.
Tarnished.
It's pretty smart.
That is really smart.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start with patron creation.
Dibs on first
And-
roll. Sorry. Dude.
We can. So I do need to preface actually. We can roll on just about everything.
Ooh, this
here.
is cool.
We're not getting into
Oh,
character
this
creation
isn't
yet, where
cool
it
yet.
has some character creation has some like extra benefits if you roll and just take whatever you roll.
Ooh,
The patron does not, so we can reserve rolls just for when we aren't exactly sure, or if we want to leave fate in the God Emperor's hands.
I have a question about
Yes.
the patron before we start. So is that like a normal thing in Warhammer lore, or is this specific to the RPG to like make sure that it makes sense as to why we're becoming like a group? You know what I mean?
It is a normal thing.
Okay.
So one of the key examples would be Inquisitors. Inquisitors are kind of like the secret police for the Imperium. They will oversee and ensure and eradicate any forms of heresy. They might even be in charge of doing a thing called exterminatus, where they cleanse an entire world of all of its life and population from orbit. There's one example where they did that to try and starve out a Tyranid hive fleet. That's a whole bit of lore that we won't be getting into right now. But yeah, so it is normal for these high-ranking individuals to be plucking people to serve whatever purpose they need.
Okay. And we don't necessarily need to be from the same faction that they are,
Correct.
but they are pulling us into their world.
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
How strong do you think you have to be to exterminate a planet with a punch?
With a punch, I
12.
believe that in theory, a single Astartes can cleanse a planet given enough time. So you have to be a genetically modified super soldier.
No, well, okay.
Exactly.
Someone else would have to be genetically
Oh,
modified.
yeah.
Me.
Yeah,
I just-
Wesley's got
Give me a month of training. I'm in there.
it.
The old One Punch Man workout system.
Yeah, yeah.
There we go.
I run 10 miles every day.
10 kilometers.
I don't sleep with the air conditioning on. That's how you do it.
Okay, so we've already talked a bit about what a patron is. Just a high-ranking member of the Imperium. Could be from any number or any of the factions within the Imperium. The Imperium doesn't work all under just one faction's rule. Multiple different factions are trying to do different things and all trying to keep the cogs moving. So the types of factions that your patron can be from would be the Adeptus Administratum. Think of this as just administration. They're trying to do record keeping. They're trying to make sure they sign off on the amount of supplies and resources that are going to Imperial front lines to serve and feed the Imperial Guard.
You can be from a pencil counting world.
Yeah.
Don't
Maybe.
lose count.
Then there's the Adeptus Astra Telepathica. So
That's a cool name.
it is pretty cool. So in this world, there's a lot of psychers who can draw power from the warp, from the Immaterium, to basically cast spells or do crazy powers like that.
The video that you sent to us prior to playing this, just so that we had like some semblance of an idea, I really liked how they described it for us plebes. Psychers are essentially the Warhammer equivalent of like magic users in other lore sets. So
yeah, and a psyker encompasses all, like, it's not like a specific subset of magic user in other systems. It would be like a psyker could be any of the different types. There could be like one focused entirely on divination. There could be one like an astropath, because we can't really like send signals faster than light between two planets. You would use an astropath to psychically communicate across the warp to another astropath on a different distant planet and try and like project images and words to get some kind of a point across.
Cool.
science.
Yeah, science. Then you have the Adeptus Mechanicus. The Mechanicus are basically cybernetically augmented humans. They believe that the flesh is weak, and they kind of like pursue turning basically their entire body into robotic pieces. Technically not AI, because they still have some human components in there. AI is definitely illegal, but they will cybernetically augment themselves. They're also in charge of lobotomizing people and turning them into servitors, which are lobotomized humans that are cybernetically augmented to do like heavy lifting and things like that.
Are those the floating skulls too?
Those are servo skulls,
Servo
which do
skulls.
technically have to have human remains in order to circumvent that whole AI ban.
Okay.
But yes, there are floating skulls that they would help create or keep together. Yes.
So also of note, along the lines about no AI, all of the computers are called cogitators in the Imperium, and that's because they actually have like human brain components in them to make sure that they are not artificial intelligence. Because the Men of Iron, we became heretical and heretic. You're not allowed to use any of that. So everything has like human brains inside of them running them.
The Men of
malicious
Iron.
compliance is wild.
100% homegrown intelligence only.
Yeah. The Men of
Mhm.
Iron were
You don't have
basically what the
conflict,
AI
it's
used
store-bought.
as to like fight against humanity way back. So
That's crazy.
yeah, a lot of fun. But the Mechanicus's job is to kind of to forge things, to craft things, to create things, to maintain things, tanks, titans, mechs, weapons, everything like that. They also have a whole thing about the machine spirit that must be appeased. They have like a whole religion based off of like saying if your computer gets a blue screen of death, that's because you didn't use enough like incense and holy citations towards it to appease the machine spirit within.
That checks out.
Yeah.
And they call
I think
the
the best
God
way.
Emperor the Omnissiah. So
Yeah.
that's like
The
their thing.
Omnissiah.
The Omnissiah,
That's really
the
cool.
machine god.
Yeah, they think the Emperor is Space Jesus, and the Machine God is God. The Machine God
Oh.
has.
Mhm.
This is what you were telling me about earlier.
Yeah, I may want to do an Adeptus Mechanicus character,
Okay.
and the Holy Spirit is electricity.
Mm.
The what did they call it?
I don't know.
I told you it
You
was
did.
the man, it was something like it makes them move, and because it
The motive
moves
spirit?
the sorry,
Was it the motive force?
the motive force. That's exactly what it was. Thank you. And so that is their like Holy Ghost equivalent in the Trinity.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I like that.
isn't that cool? Anyway,
Yeah, very cool.
Then we have the Adeptus Ministorum. So the Ministorum is the church element. So if your patron is part of them, he's probably like a high priest, very like religiously inclined. Then there's the Astra Militarum. This is the military arm of the Imperium. Would be people being like just regular foot troops being thrown at whatever enemy is in the way. But your patron would probably be like a pretty high ranking general among them, or a commissar is a kind of like a high ranking officer who ensures compliance, but ensures compliance and does things like I will continue to shoot one of you until morale improves. Level of leadership.
Yeah.
Your patron would be one step above that, ensuring compliance among senior leaders and senior officers. There is the Imperial Fleet, so there's a whole Imperial Navy that your patron could be a member of.
Okay, so the militarum is like army
Yes.
equivalent, and then fleet is like
Navy.
navy. Okay, cool.
Then you have the Infractionists. This one's a little bit weird. The Imperium's massive. Trying to keep track of every single one person without the use of like I don't know AI or like good computers is next to impossible. So people fall through the cracks. This leads to criminal activity.
What?
Crazy.
Yeah. I think if you're familiar with the war game, Necromunda would be pretty much all that the Infractionists are about.
What if we aren't?
If you aren't familiar with Necromunda, basically down a lot of planets have these things called hive cities. Think of the most densely compacted city on Earth right now.
Mhm.
Compact it more, and then make it
Tall.
so fucking tall that if you were in the upper areas of the hive city, you would probably need to get oxygen fed to you because the atmosphere isn't good enough.
Dang.
Mm.
Granted, the atmosphere is probably also not good enough because who gives a fuck about terraforming? But
Like that
that's
city in Star Wars?
Yeah, like Cloud City.
yeah, it would probably reach up to Cloud City levels. But deep down below, at the bottom levels, gangs, criminal activity, people smuggling things back and forth. Trying, there could be like cults down there. There could be all sorts of weird shit going on. But Necromunda kind of revolves around that layer, that level of conflict.
Cool.
The Underhive.
The Underhive, the Undercity.
Bees.
I think Undercity is actually Sigmar or
Age of?
fantasy
Mhm.
with the Skaven and all that. But anyways, Infractionists. Then there is the Inquisition, the secret police. I already talked about them a little bit. And then there are the rogue trader dynasties.
Whoa.
A rogue trader dynasty has an imperial charter to go out and explore and explore and find new worlds. They can go there. They also have some instances in which they will have like large fleets accompanying them because they're going into uncharted places. They're also, I'm not going to say allowed, but they're not penalized for working with Xenos.
Weird.
Scum.
Yeah. There's a lot of hypocrisy within the Imperium.
Checks out.
But yeah, those are the factions. We can roll for this, or if there's any faction that really stands out for what you want your patron to be a part of. Let's hear it. If you have any more questions too, please feel free.
My
I
favorite is
truly
the
like-
last one, but I'm also
Rogue
down
traders.
to roll. Mhm.
Okay.
I like that and Adeptus Mechanicus just because they're fun to me. They're just really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the
Hi.
Inquisition or the Rogue Trader. That would be my opinion, just because those stories from them can be really, really cool and interesting.
Yeah, I am also leaning towards like Rogue Trader or Imperial Fleet, someone that moves around a lot. I
Yeah.
want them sending us cool places. I don't want to be like stuck on one planet, which I
Mm.
don't think you would do. But
No, he's gonna put us on the corn planet.
Yeah. It's all going to be corn related crimes.
But then we'll get a flamethrower. And then the
Constant
popcorn will be
mazes.
sick.
If this
Wait.
turns into Star
Ayo.
Wars Rebels and I never get to leave the planet, I will scream.
what, you don't like Lethal?
I don't like Lethal.
Everyone hates Lethal.
Everyone hates
Misty
it.
hates Lethal.
Yeah, which, like, to be honest, I was mainly leaning towards Infractionists, but that would be Lethal. So my vote is for Rogue Trader Dynasty.
Okay.
It's got rogue in the name.
I think
I
we
know.
are. It sounds like we're all in agreement on a Rogue Trader dynasty then.
Yeah.
Where do
Yep,
I put
cool.
that?
So that is going to go on
Faction?
the patron sheet under faction. Yes.
Is that all? You also have a patron sheet? Do we
Yeah.
have?
You have the group sheet. She has the patron.
Yeah, I
sheet.
only
Ah,
gave
I
you
see, I
guys
see, I
one
Is it
patron
Rogue
sheet.
Trader Dynasty?
Yes.
Okay.
Because this charter is descended down to the heirs of the dynasty.
I wrote too big. I had to squish it.
Yeah.
Lamau.
And a lot of
all
these
right.
charters go back to literally charters that were signed by the Emperor himself when
wow.
humanity was starting to go out into the universe. That these, they were given charters to go explore, establish contact on behalf of the Imperium, and also to do trade between the different, sections, the different worlds and sectors. So it go like these dynasties date back to like the early times of the Imperium when it first started going back out from Terra to explore the universe and reestablish, unify the Imperium of man.
That's
Cool.
wild. So
That's
they
really cool.
they've just been doing that, like they're like Star Trek living on this ship.
Yeah.
Forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah. There's it's a void, not void spawn, but like void
Voidborn.
Voidborn. Thank you. Voidborn, who are like physically altered a little bit because of their time on the ship and traveling through the warp.
Ooh. Have you ever seen The Expanse?
Yeah, it's
Cool.
like those guys.
Yeah.
On the asteroid belt.
Yeah,
Wow.
everyone that's born in low gravity is like slightly taller, and
Wonk.
if they go to a place with gravity, it's like painful for them. It's a really cool show if you haven't seen it.
So now that we have chosen the faction that we would like the patron to be a part of, now we have to choose their duties. So just because they're part of the faction,
We are children,
We're 12 years old.
especially Wesley.
No,
It was me. I'm sorry. And then I looked at Wesley.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep it in.
I was just gonna chuckle, but then she chuckled, and it made me laugh more.
You guys beat me
man.
to chuckling.
Woo.
I was going to chuckle too. So
I swear we're adults. They're
Their duty.
Their duty.
okay, and scene.
So we need to pick what basically this patron does for a rogue trader dynasty. So we could say that they are a diplomat or that they are a trader militant. So diplomat is they are devoted to negotiating with societies within and beyond the Imperium, bridging the gaps between factions and even species in rare circumstances in the name of profit. Or the trader militant, your patron is a trader militant, willing and even eager to exploit the military allowances within their warrant of trade to the fullest. They are a minor military force onto themselves, often overthrowing whole worlds to bring their populace and their resources into the Imperium.
Manifest destiny.
Sounds like we're about to bag either way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm neutral.
Well,
I'll go do either one. To be honest.
yeah, they're all about the bag. Honestly, that's what rogue traders. Their
That makes
entire
sense.
existence is just
Yeah.
to make money somehow.
Just like me.
So
Exactly.
what we're feeling the trader militant, or are we feeling diplomacy?
I
Sorry.
think Wesley would like to roll for it.
And if no one feels
If no
strongly
one's
either way about
passionate.
it, I would like to roll
Yeah.
the die.
Odds and evens.
X's and O's.
No.
Odds is what?
Diplomat.
Okay. Yippee.
We're odd.
We're diplomats.
Wait,
I don't want
Okay,
it.
I don't
well,
want it.
This is like okay, we'll do the other one. This is like that scene in Hannah Montana.
Well, it's like sometimes you roll the dice and your heart is like, that's
Yeah.
not what I want.
That's what happened in Hannah
exactly.
Montana.
Yeah, because I
All
didn't
right.
think
It's
I cared,
still
but I do.
beneficial.
Yeah.
So trader militant is their duty.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. Now, your patron comes with specific boons. Your patron has access to a whole lot of resources, way more resources than you will ever be able to access. These come in the form of boons. Now, each boon also comes with a liability that I get to choose secretly behind the scenes that's going to fuck with you guys during the
Aw.
course of the game.
Ooh, fun.
So don't write
So,
anything there.
You're not going to write anything there, no.
Do I write down the boons?
Yes.
Okay.
You said
So,
boon
given
too
that
much, and now it
your
sounds funny.
Given that your rogue trader is a trader militant, you gain a void ship. Your patron gives you access to a void ship, part of which you can use as a base of operations.
Nice.
While aboard the void ship, you have free accommodation and meals at a minimum of standard quality and have free system and interplanetary warp travel.
Am I supposed to write all that down? I can.
Just writing void ship should be enough.
Oh.
She's already started writing. That's cool. I like not having to worry about buying food.
Yeah,
I
it does
love
make it
to eat.
really easy. And then having the free travel as well, because normally you would have to like pay the solars, which is the currency within the Macarian sector. But you would have to pay for travel to these different places. Moving on from there, unless we have some questions.
I'm looking at this. Are there other boons that we get along with the void ship, or
We
just
will
that?
be getting to that
Oh,
point later.
okay. Sorry.
Ooh.
So next up, we want to know motivation. Motivation, this is going to be what really outlines what we want to do in our game. So are we basically are we more interested in trying to do like some political assassinations? Are we trying to do some espionage? Are we trying to do heists? Are we trying to just like diplomacy our way through something? Are we trying to actively take out some key infrastructure, like sabotage kinds of stuff? What exactly is it we're trying to do? Some of the motivations that they give, there is a role that we can do for this as well if we'd want. But there is conflict, information, material, reputation, and unity. These are meant to be just general guidelines for what we want to go with and do note that if none of these really fit, and if we don't feel comfortable with one of these, we can feel free to make our own.
So I'd like to do something with the Xenos, because I feel like this game could be all human all the time, but I'd like to see something weird.
You want to trust me? You're gonna be seeing weird shit,
Okay.
no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay.
Weird with a Y.
But like, is the patron sending us to do Xenos things, or are they gonna send us to do like human things?
I mean, that's at the end of the day, everything that you do will come back to humanity. It
Okay.
always does.
Okay. Anyway, that's what I have to add to the
Okay.
motivation.
So I could see that potentially as like a Unity kind of a thing. I mean, granted, Unity is trying to mention more about discord between factions, but we could maybe also include some like other species.
I feel like
if we'd like.
you could work that in, like the other species, into most of these,
Mhm.
So
I
like,
agree.
if we're doing material that we're working with, trading with like a xeno species, or conflict, it could be literally that we're being sent to a world that's, having a battle between like the local planetary defense force and the xenos, or has like a gene stealer cult operating inside of it or something like that. So we could probably work that in, with any of these.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything that you feel like would be cool to explore, Phil?
Honestly, I'm down for any of these. I think that some of them kind of like show, like, you would have like conflict feels like it's going to be more combat, conflict would be more combat oriented with our gaming. And then you have like information, looks like it would be more like political intrigue kind of stuff, like we're researching things and finding things, and spy thriller kind of stuff. Then you have material would be, dealing with, establishing like the like what was it, the in Star Wars Episode 1, the Trade Federation,
The
and that kind
Ferengi.
of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Ferengi also have those. And then you have
That's Star Trek.
reputation.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
Star
it's
Trek.
like-
I was
Sorry,
like,
Trade
I'm-
Federation was correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my bad. I fucked that one.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I was so confused.
Then you have, and then you have, and again, like I said, I'm down for any of these. Honestly, I think it's going to be fun and exciting. So.
I think it would be interesting if we roll for it, because on this
Dibs.
page, if we look at patron motivation, we have based off of whatever faction that they are a part of, we can roll, and it's like more likely that their motivation will be towards one of these versus others, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I do want to say before we roll, because I'm totally cool if we want to roll, but you as the GM are also a player. So like, do you have any things that you think would be extra cool? Because
Well-
I would rather you say that and be excited about it as too than roll for it and have you be like, dang it, I really wanted
Well,
X.
You've already chosen my favorite faction from this whole list. As far as the motivation goes, I'm going to preface right now that it's not going to be wholly related to your patron's motivation. It will be mostly. So I'm still going to have time to fuck around with whatever I want.
Okay.
All right. We want to roll for it?
I have a quick
Yeah.
comment before we do, I guess, and feel free to throw this out the window if everybody else thinks this is dumb and that I'm dumb. I would like to avoid conflict, just because I feel like not a lot of the games we've done doesn't have like combat as a center focus. I'm not opposed to combat at all, but I think it'd be a little neat if it wasn't like the centerpiece of this campaign. That's just my opinion.
I thought that was kind of the centerpiece of the game.
Well, yeah, I'm fine with combat, but if we can do like information or like materials, have something else be the reason we're fighting.
Oh,
instead of
okay, not just like
yeah.
fighting to fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
My
Okay.
So
opinion.
is this how you reveal that you're actually a hippie, Wesley? Is that
Yeah,
what
I'm
you're
actually.
saying?
I super love peace and stuff.
Nice.
That's my shit.
How about we roll, and if we get conflict, we re-roll.
Okay.
That sounds
Okay.
good.
Here we go.
You rolling a D100?
Oh, sorry, it's a D10 for this one.
Well, isn't it a D10 for the
it is a D10 for
for
this one.
the patron?
It is
Okay,
a D10 for this
gotcha. I got a 0.
one. A 0, that's a 10.
You mean a 10?
Yep, I mean a 10.
This one is going to be Unity.
Okay.
Kind of interesting for Rogue Trader to be focused on Unity. Do we want to like maybe further define what Unity means to this patron? Are we thinking that he's trying to mend some cracks within the Imperium? Do you think that he is maybe trying to unify a bit more of the Macarian sector? This sector, by the way, had been racked with warp storms for a few hundred years, causing some of the planets to be a little disconnected from one another when the warp storms finally passed. So perhaps that could be a thing that we're trying to do, is like re-interact with some of these other worlds who have only just recently came in.
Yeah. So I once read Confessions of an Economic Hitman, and I think it would be really cool if we were trying to bring them in by subjugating them financially. So, like saying, we're going to do this big infrastructure, like building for you, but it's going to cost a lot for you to upkeep it. And like, now that you have these dams in place, you can't let them go or they'll wash away your city, that sort of stuff.
Okay, interesting.
Okay.
That book title was really cool that you just dropped. That's a cool book
It's
title.
really good. Highly recommend it.
I was thinking also if with Joseph wanting to do with Xenos, we could be trying to broker peace between like a Xenos faction and like the planet that we go towards, trying to bring peace between the factions there so that we can establish like a trade route with them.
That would be really interesting. The Eldari, which are the space elves, they are prevalent in the sector. Not like
Ooh, cool.
extensive, because I mean, after all, the Eldari are a dying race, but they do exist within the Macarian sector.
Is there a sorry, my brain like glitched. With the Eldari, do they tend to have relations ever with humans normally? Not that they have to, because this is our story and we can do what we want.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Out of all of the Xenos factions, I think the Eldari are the ones that the Imperium has, heavy quotes, worked with the most. Phil, correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, it them and sometimes with the Tau, like there's there's
The greater good.
Yeah, the greater good. There was a whole portion of the Caiaphas Cain novels where they dealt with the fact that they were trying to broker kind of a peace between the Tau and the humans on this planet, or that they were working together and stuff like that. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we could probably, if you guys are fine with it, keep the Xenos faction to me, and I'll
Yeah.
figure that part out. Okay. Unity. Next up is demeanor. Basically, what is the vibe of this person?
I want him to be nice to me. I'm just kidding.
There's not a nice option. We have wrathful, somber, pragmatic, zealous, or inscrutable.
What's inscrutable mean?
Yeah,
They can't be screwed.
Can you define all of those words?
It's like uncrustable.
Wrathful. Wrathful. Your patron is ambitious and decisive. They are quick to act. They demand results and accept no excuses. They may also be vengeful or quick to anger. Somber. Your patron is thoughtful and analytical. They are slow to act and consider the ramifications of each decision. They expect perfection in their servants as much as themselves. Pragmatic. Your patron is serene and quiet. They have a knack for seeing other perspectives and recognizing the necessity of compromise more so than most leaders of the Imperium. Okay, that could be an interesting one for you guys. Zealous, your patron is loquacious, active, and enthusiastic. They surround themselves with servants and allies. They despise idleness, but may act rashly.
And they scored really high on the SATs.
Yeah, they did. Wait.
Inscrutable, your patron conceals their personality behind a veneer of stoic professionalism or smooth geniality.
That one, I do that IRL. That's just like me.
Oh.
They're
I've never
filled
been
with
screwed
peanut
in my
butter
life.
and jelly.
I kind of like my personal vote. If we're voting and not rolling, I'm also down to roll. Is somber.
A pragmatic might work well if they're trying to work with the Xenos and between the Xenos and the humans. If that's what we're looking to do.
I was thinking somber or pragmatic.
Yeah, same.
Pragmatic
Those are
was
the
my
ones I wrote
second.
down.
Make
Yeah.
the decision, Joseph.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you-
Split.
Pragmatic.
Well,
Pragmatic
okay.
it
Very
is.
pragmatic of
He
you.
rolled for it.
yeah.
Okay. Go
Suck it,
ahead
Wesley.
and mark that down under demeanor.
I actually, this is what I wanted. I reversed psychology. Yeah.
Oh man, he's playing
Oh,
40
okay.
chess over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I am.
40K chess.
40K chess.
Hey.
Oh!
The next thing that we need to discuss briefly, you don't get a choice on this one, is payment.
12.
Ooh,
What?
So you
she said
start.
12.
Okay, 12
Obviously.
it is.
No,
I guess we don't want.
No.
12
Can
billion.
I aside really quick? We talked about chess for a millisecond. I learned that there's this type of chess called bug bash chess. Bug bash, I think. Where we're on a team, you guys are on a team, and every time I take one of Missy's pieces, because we're different colors, I hand it to her, and she can place, because it matters, because I hand you her piece, and you can place that piece wherever you want.
I've seen that chess play
That
before.
it
It
sounds
looks
so
fun.
cool.
Dude, okay. Let's go get 2 chessboards
Dude,
right now.
okay. Sorry.
You okay?
This is so relevant. One of my I joined a new team at work, and one of them plays chess a lot, like during lunch and stuff. So I was telling Damien that we have to get into chess so I can buy a really expensive chessboard and not have it be a waste of money.
Dude, okay.
Speaking of wasting money,
I will play chess with you every day.
How much money can we waste?
Okay, so payment. Your patron will normally pay for some minor things. Okay,
Oh.
so between missions, the patron covers agents' living expenses and little else. So because of you have the void ship and free lodging, free food,
Oh.
that's how he's covering you. He's not paying for anything else.
What?
However,
Okay.
between each mission, you will get a standard pay grade. A standard pay grade is 100 solars each.
is that a lot?
It's more than you were making before by a
It's
lot.
a lot to me.
Will that buy a weapon?
It could buy a shitty weapon, yes.
Shitty weapon.
With
Okay.
our powers combined, we can buy an okay weapon.
Okay.
Do keep in mind that you guys will start with gear, so you're not going to be completely thrown to the wayside or thrown out there.
Solar's wrong.
Except for Wesley, he doesn't.
I don't need gear.
Yeah, actually.
I got 2 guns
Only his
right here.
Okay, and next, and probably gonna take the longest part of patron creation, we're gonna talk about boons and liabilities a little bit more. You see, your patron has awarded you his duty boon of a void ship, and he has a liability because of that. You may, if you'd like, choose up to 3 more boons that your patron can offer you.
Okay.
In so doing, you will gain up to 3 additional liabilities that the
Okay, yeah.
patron has.
I was like, there's a catch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So boons can be anything from having a secret cache of servo skulls. So every single mission, you'll have a servo skull per person to use as you see fit. To having a like of noble blood. So given that he is like a noble, he can give you a writ of introduction, granting you the right to an audience with a member of the imperial nobility on any world. And then liabilities would be things like blackmailed. So he is actively being blackmailed, and his choices and missions may not be to your best interest or even his best interest. He could be corrupt. He could have an arch enemy.
Ooh.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a few moments to discuss what we'd like to do with our boons. Yes?
I assume. Sorry, just for clarification, if we choose to get 3 more boons, do we pick 3 boons or do we roll for 3 boons?
You pick 3
Oh.
boons. There is a table next to the duty that your patron is that you can roll on if you just want motivation for boons that kind of align with that type of a role. But we're free to choose any of them if we'd like.
Do we have another physical book?
Yes.
All my books are immaterial.
So I like the look of the contrabandist.
Is that a boon?
It is a boon. So your patron has connections throughout the underworld of the Imperium and is capable of getting their hands on anything you might need. Just don't ask where it came from. Looks pretty sweet.
I want to go on a record and say I'm down for whatever.
I think we should get 3 boons.
Maximize. Yeah.
Get all the boons. Get all the liabilities. What can go wrong?
We'll just play better. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Okay.
It's not a liability if I'm built different.
That means that your patron will have 4 liabilities.
Yeah, you're looking at him.
So one of us isn't.
One of us is
liability?
goated.
Yeah, it's me.
I was gonna say it's not me. That's what they called me in
There's
high
a cool
school.
one
The
called-
liability.
There's a cool one called Voidsman Training Facility.
Ooh, what's
where
that?
Your patron grants you the use of an Imperial fleet training facility, practicing alongside pilots and the crew of Voidcraft. While at this facility, the XP cost of the following specializations is reduced by 20: awareness, sight, discipline, fear, intuition, surroundings, navigation, all, piloting, all, ranged long guns and pistols, reflexes, balance, and dodge.
Dang.
Wow.
I'm sure
I do
all
need
of those will
to
make
add a little bit of information there as well. This works like Star Wars as far as the XP gain goes.
Okay.
You earn XP and then you spend that XP to improve yourself.
I like that system a lot. I think more games should do it.
I agree.
I get to like pick by skill where I invest. I really like that.
So this boon would essentially be whenever we go to level up, if we're in the training facility.
Those skills are reduced.
Cool.
I would
Reduced
even
cost.
say at character creation, if you choose that boon, you would get that benefit.
Ooh, okay.
He's a gracious god.
Yeah, the liability's gonna go crazy.
All right. What did you guys choose for your boons? This is in addition to the void ship that you already get.
So
I'll
we
do it.
were. Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
fight.
Sorry.
Oh, we will fight.
How about you do one and then
Okay. I'm real excited about the Xenotechnician, where our patron has an interest in Xenos technology, might have a little bit of it, and hasn't been executed yet. So that's good.
it makes sense? Rogue traders do happen to have a lot of rare and not necessarily the most legal items in their collections.
Would you call them new and unusual?
I would say that they are definitely unusual.
Maybe not new.
Today's
Probably
probably
not
not Rogue
new.
Traders.
There's. I was going to say we're going to go with the Voidsman Training Facility. So essentially, we have access to the Imperial Fleet Training Facility where we can practice alongside the pilots and Voidcraft crew, and it gives us a bonus to reducing our XP cost for specializations such as awareness and discipline.
And we'll be talking a little bit more about XP cost for upgrading skills during character creation.
And then our final one is the Contrabandist. Our patron has connections throughout the underworld and can get their hands on just about anything within the Imperium. Just don't ask where it came from.
All right. One thing to note about all of this is that each of these boons, you can notice that above them, except for the Xenotechnician, but like the Voidsman training facility, has Imperial Fleet +1 patron influence. What this means is that when you are interacting socially with these groups, you can mention your patron and you will get that much of a bonus or penalty to social checks related to that faction. Do keep in mind that this is not mind control in any way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
They will still do what is best for them.
Yeah, it's the whole like everyone liked that in
Mhm.
Fallout, or like everyone disliked
Yeah, and that goes on our character sheet.
That goes on
influence?
the patron sheet.
Oh,
You
okay.
will have your own individual influence.
Oh, okay, cool.
Again, this is like invoking your patron's name, mentioning the relation there will give you the increase.
I don't put
Cool.
anything for contacts or intel just yet.
Not just yet. In fact, we
Okay.
can probably fill that out after this. But the boons will give bonuses, and then also the fact that he is a part of the Rogue Trader dynasty gives him +2 influence with Rogue Trader dynasties because he's already part of that faction. Then it would be picking 4 liabilities, but I am going to do that behind the scenes, and you will not get to know exactly what it is. I did just see that there's Frail Form, where your patron clings desperately to the mortal coil, though they are physically weak and ailing,
Ooh,
which might be
okay.
kind of fun. Awesome. After that, we have, just a quick little thing about like background and influence. Again, influence increases skill levels with social checks associated to like talking with them. They're going to be more likely to help you out if you know a guy who knows a guy.
Mhm.
This does work inversely. Your influence can go negative and get so far down that they might just attack you on sight. It goes from a scale of 0 to it goes from -5 to +5 as far as the influence tracker goes.
Okay.
By default, everyone starts at 0. Yeah. The last thing to do, name. What do we want to call this person?
Ooh, okay.
Someone has an idea.
If I might, I feel like unless people really want to name him, her, whoever, I think that could be a GM job because you're going to be playing this character, and so I feel like
Yeah, that's
to
a good point.
me, it should be something that fits with what you're obviously like what we've already decided, but then the things you're going to add on, like what's going to fit for that.
Yeah,
You just don't want to think of a high Gothic name.
No,
So-
no,
that's not it.
I know.
it's if you're gonna choose the frail liability, we don't want to name this guy Randy Macho Man Savage.
Oh,
Wouldn't
maybe we
that be
do
good,
because it's
though?
like when you have a short friend and you call him tall.
Oh yeah, yeah, full size, and it's like a really short guy.
Yeah, you get it.
And you got
Little
pint
John.
size, and he's massive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hairy and he's bald.
No, his name is just Harry.
Sorry, I'm using a name generator right now, trying to see.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't like any of these. How about I will get back to you?
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that
kind
makes,
of what I was
yeah,
saying.
I
is
think that
like,
makes sense
Yeah.
too because it's like you've been summoned by Papyrus.
Papyrus.
That's
He's a
pretty
skeleton.
good.
The font, not a
Mhm.
person.
Papyrus the font would be such a cool name.
No, it would not.
I think we might have the patron's name good.
There we
Please
go.
don't. I'm X-carding that. I won't be able to take him seriously.
He can speak in Papyrus.
I'll just think of Papyrus.
Mm-hmm.
High Lord Wingdings, and it's just
Oh man. Okay, cool.
Chaos.
So name to be determined.
name to be determined. I'm gonna also assume then details, like further details about this person to be determined.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
That works for me, and I do like the idea that you don't actually know what you're about to walk into. The game assumes that this person has already like pulled you out of whatever you were actively doing before and trained you in some way, shape, or form. But I think I have a narrative way I want to introduce that.
Okay, cool.
I'm excited. Characters.
Let's
Characters.
go.
Are we excited for
Yes, we-
characters?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Here,
Sorry.
here is the big thing that I want you all to understand about character creation in Imperium Maledictum. Guess what? There are tables to roll on for everything.
Okay.
You will start by rolling on the table.
Nice.
If it is something that you do not like, you're more than happy to change it. But you lose out on XP because obviously you didn't put your faith in the God Emperor.
Oh, okay.
Can you roll for everything?
I believe everything.
I'm
on
gonna
here.
roll for everything. I'm
Even
putting
that
all
one
my
thing?
faith in the God Emperor. And also, I don't want to think too much.
You're so real for that.
Yeah.
So, as we go through, just keep that in mind as far as like all of these options. Feel free to make the character that you want to make. Just know that if you leave it up to Big E, you're going to have more XP at the end.
Biggie Smalls.
Big Emperor.
Oh,
Smallest.
same.
What's the XP penalty for choosing instead of like how much XP do you get for rolling?
For rolling, you can get up to 200 experience points.
Is it different per thing?
Yeah,
like the bonus?
each
Okay.
thing has a certain amount of XP that you would add to your character at the end.
Is it up to 200 XP total?
Total
for
for
everything.
character
Yeah.
creation, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are we
I'm
ready to
gonna-
begin?
Ready.
All
I'm
right.
scared.
I'm gonna let the
The
God
first thing
Emperor
that we are
guide
going
me.
to do is we are going to roll for characteristics. But before we roll, I'm going to explain characteristics. Think of characteristics as your big attributes. When we played Call of Cthulhu, it was all your attributes up there: strength, body, all of that kind of stuff. In Dungeons and Dragons, strength, dex, all of those kinds of things. So in this, we have our weapon skill, that's melee weapons. Our ballistic skill, ranged weapons. Your strength, you can deal more damage with melee weapons. Your toughness, how hardy you are. Your agility, think of this: stealth, dodging out of the way, things like that. Your intelligence, how smart you are. Your perception as its own attribute, which is kind of nice. That one is literally spotting danger, looking around, how well you perceive things around you. Your willpower, this one's a little bit more important because willpower is going to help you fight through pain and resist corruption. Because as you are going throughout this grim, dark future, you will be tried against corrupting influences. Straying too far from the Emperor's light may cause mutations. Little fun effects of the warp. And then finally, there is fellowship, just how well you can get along with your fellow man.
And maybe this is a foolish question. We want high numbers on these, right?
Correct.
And then when we roll them, we're trying to roll under that number.
That is correct.
And this is for our starting value.
These are starting values, correct. Are we ready to begin?
Ready.
So we're rolling for
Yes.
each individual stat.
Each individual stats, you're going to do this process 9 times.
And we get an XP bonus for each stat that we...
I'll
Sorry.
explain that piece. Okay, so we're going to roll 2d10, add 20, 9 times. And that is going to be our characteristics.
So
the
much
highest that we can get is 40. The lowest that we can get is 22.
Okay.
Now, you would roll them in order and write them down.
Okay.
If you like that, great job. You just earned 50 experience points. If you want to swap them around, though, you still have a chance to earn 25 experience points. And then if you're still not happy with like just rearranging them, you can instead roll again until you get something you like, but you don't get any bonus XP. Or you can do the point buy system where all of them start at 20. You have 90 points to put wherever you want.
I'm putting my faith in the God Emperor.
So for the full 50, I have to place by place roll for my stat.
That's correct. In order, down the line.
Fuck it, we ball.
You
So-
and me, we're the same.
You take the roll and you add 20.
That's correct.
Oh god, math.
So we, yeah, okay.
I'm sorry.
Do you want to hear the extra?
2d10,
Correct.
You roll.
and it can't go above
40.
40.
So 2d10 plus 20.
Right.
The highest that you can possibly get on that roll is 40.
Okay.
So just to gauge like how well the roll is, that would be like the bar to set it against.
Oh my god, 2 good rolls. Thanks, God. Emperor, sir.
How are we looking? I'm seeing some wide eyes here and there. I'm seeing some praise the God Emperors.
I'm just happy that the zeros are tens, not zeros when it comes to this, because I've gotten a few.
It's almost like it's a better way to look at it.
I don't know what you're talking about. My future is not looking so grimdark.
And all of these attributes are going to lead into your skills as well.
I started out. I think I'm okay.
We'll find out when we die or don't die.
Yeah, 30 is the average roll that you can get on this. So anything above that is pretty good.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I've been
My lowest
averaging.
is 29.
I've been pretty good.
Nice.
2 29s and then 31, 31, 32, 32. Not in this order. 34, 36, and I got a 38.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
The highest
I
I,
did
got
pretty
was
good.
a 36.
Yeah. How'd you do?
So I got in order. I had 32, 37, 32, 37, 29, 36, 31, 31, and then 25. So
Okay.
I'm kind of a
Dang.
grumpy bastard apparently.
Yeah, but you're good enough to be grumpy, you know? It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, exactly.
I'm super tough.
Too old for this shit.
So at this point, then,
Mhm.
once we're all done rolling, we can choose to rearrange those numbers if we would like.
No, I'll take my 50
No.
XP, please.
I have faith.
You will still get 25 experience points for rearranging.
No.
I'm leaving it all up to the God Emperor.
Are we all? We're
yeah.
all. Damn,
Big E.
some zealous people.
Praise the Omnissiah.
Okay. Go ahead and just mark to the side on your character sheet 50 experience points.
Cool.
Is there a specific location?
There is somewhere.
It's okay if not. I just
Yeah, up at the top right, there's the current XP and then the spent XP.
okay.
Oh, okay.
You can feel free to mark it there. It's just this number is going to be changing pretty frequently, so if you don't want to like smudge up that one area.
Yeah, you're right.
Or if you're
Missing
using the
some
fillable
sage.
PDF.
True, fillable PDF, fillable PDF.
Fillable PDF, exactly.
Hey.
So you know that I have to be on board with
They
that.
suck.
I work with a guy named Phil.
Sorry?
Whenever he gives me forms, I spell it with a PH. So
Nice.
I know who I got them from. Like
Forms,
Phil's
I like it.
Forms. Yeah.
Phil's
there we
Forms. I like it. I once ordered food at a restaurant and they put my name down as Phil, F-I-L. And I was like,
Oof, that's
okay.
wild.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And I was like, all right, man.
I once
Fair
knew a
enough.
guy named Fred who was a PH Fred.
That's
Whoa.
upsetting.
Yeah.
He was
He was really cool.
yeah, he was really cool.
You would either have to be really cool or like a complete jerk if you have a name like that. Like
Yeah.
those are the two
Absolutely.
options. You can't just be like normal.
Exactly.
Like something's got to
Yeah.
go. You
I
gotta
feel like
be-
you're like
those
you're an alien cosplaying as a human and you fucked up. Like you wrote the name wrong and you're like, oh, I hope no one notices.
PH, fucked up.
All right. Are we all happy?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Great. Praise the God Emperor. Now we're going to move on to Origin. This is the origin planet that you are from. Based off of your planet's origin, you're going to have certain bonuses to your character, and you might start off with a piece of gear as well. So the origins are an agri world. This is an agricultural world where their main export is food. There is a feral world,
I
A
like that one.
feral world has little to no technological development. The societies are often small and rely on like hunting and gathering. There is a feudal world. Feudal world is like pre-industrial, kind of like almost medieval level of society. Then there is a forge world. A forge world is a world that has been completely transformed into just a huge manufactory kind of a location. It's controlled by the Adeptus Mechanicus, and it is dedicated to the production of technology. It could be devoted to one type of technology specifically, or a broad range. Then we have a hive world. A hive world has just titanic, those cities that I was talking about where they reach so high up they probably need an O2 mask in order to like breathe up at the highest levels. A planet littered with those. Their main export, honestly, is people. It's all about just trying to get more bodies out to join the guard, to continue to move the cogs of the Imperium. Then we have the Schola Progenium. The Schola Progenium is kind of like the schoolhouse for imperial rule. You would be sent there if you were to, I believe commissars are sent there. I think the Astra Telepathica is sent there as well. I think
Adeptus
Sororitas are sent there. Their big
Inquisitors,
thing is
Assassins.
it's like a big planetary university, and their big thing is also praise the God Emperor. Then there is a shrine world. A shrine world is almost like a mecca, like a place that people would pilgrimage to in order to like praise the God Emperor himself, just entirely to worship. Then there is Voidborn. Voidborn, we discussed this a little bit before, but it is you were born on a ship, you live on a ship, you thought you were going to die on a ship.
Sorry, I think it's Aladdin, but it's like this line that's like, yeah, it is Aladdin. It's like, you were born a street rat, you'll die a street rat, and only your fleas will mourn you. And that's like
Such a good line.
It
is.
That's all I
It goes
think
hard.
about while you were talking, though, and I'm sorry.
Do keep in mind that the world that you get you will be more likely to be a member of certain factions based off
Cool.
of the world that you end up getting. So you can roll a D100
Right.
and gain 25 experience points,
Okay.
or you can choose your starting planet, or your
Okay.
origin planet.
Can I roll, and then if I don't like it, change it?
By rules of the book, that's a no, but by me, because I'm a generous god, sure.
Okay. I just like rolling dice.
Wow. I don't like it. I'm choosing.
Fuck it, we ball.
Oh, you have it in front of you? I don't. What's 56? And yeah, we ball.
I'm for
56, Hive World.
I'm a guy that was made to be a guy.
I
I
am.
was born to be a guy.
I'm gonna be a Voidborn.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
torn because I kind of want to be feral.
I am Feral World. I rolled a 20.
I'm
Trade
Forge
with me.
World.
I rolled the Smarty Pants world.
A Schola
Schola
Progenium.
Progenium.
Yeah, but I don't know if I want it.
I do want 25 XP. You know?
Yeah.
I gain a vial of sacred
Well,
unguent.
Ooh.
Undulants.
Yeah.
Unguents.
I'll keep Hive, I think.
Is it too soon?
So the Schola Progenium actually, that's also where like the Scions, Militarum Tempestus, they get it from. It's essentially where they send all of like the orphans to go like super train for like the specialized skills. So it's not just like the brainiacs, it's also like the commissars, it's also the assassins, it's also the
Oh, I want to do this.
yeah.
Yeah, you heard
it's
assassins.
also
Yeah.
like it's
All right.
it's also like the Adeptus Sororitas are taken from there. So like like it's any
That's
of
who I
like
was
the
hoping
super
to maybe
specialized,
be,
and it's like
so.
yeah. So there you go. Yeah, that's what
Sick.
they have. So
Thank you. 'Cause
Just
was
before,
like,
I just
don't
wanted to
know
make
if I
sure you
wanna
said it'd
be
be a,
smart.
it's not just like a bunch of college nerds. It's also like some
Yeah,
cold hard
it's
killers
actually
and
kind
stuff.
of also a hellscape in its
Yeah.
own right. It's like
they break you down.
full punishment in all of its most extreme forms to break you and then bend you to their will.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because for all of those things, they don't want humans. They just want like human shaped molds that they can turn into like the elite of their things. Like, you know, like the Tempestus Scions are like the elite of the Astra Militarum, and they don't think for themselves. They follow orders and they do it really well, you know. And like the Commissars, like it doesn't matter if you've had a bad day. If you do something heretical, they're just going to shoot you in the head. You know, it's like they don't want you thinking. They just want you doing. So
Cool.
Rip.
yeah, real brutal.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
I have a question.
Yes.
So with the origins, it has like the characteristics off to the side. If you have these characteristics and it goes above 40, is that okay now?
Yeah.
Or okay.
oh. I just realized I don't have a book in front of me. I didn't realize you got like characteristic buffs.
Which
can
one are
Hive.
you from? Hive. You get +5 agility.
Would we put this? Would we just replace the starting value, or would we put this in advances?
Starting value.
That's not what I did.
Yeah, advances are about upgrades. So spending XP to improve yourself.
+5 agility.
And then +5 to either ballistics, perception, or fellowship.
Thank you.
In addition, from being from a hive world, you have an ugly filtration, a set of ugly filtration plugs.
I thought you just called me ugly. I was like, bro.
In addition to being ugly, you also have filtration.
Ugly is actually a keyword on tools and items, because if the person cares about how things look, you'll get a penalty to social checks with them.
Oh, interesting.
So if you just have these filtration plugs out and like hanging on your belt or something, and you're talking to a noble, he's probably not gonna like you very much.
He's not going to take you seriously.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, but I get it. I do the same thing, honestly.
Those of you that have rolled and kept your roll, 25 experience points.
So much experience.
And let me know if we're ready to move on from there. Good. All right. So next up is faction. So this one, you can roll a D100, and based off of your your origin planet, you will have more likelihood to be a part of certain factions. If you keep your roll, you'll gain 75 experience points.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Otherwise, you just you pick, and that's it.
Sorry.
And I know you were trying to go for Mechanicus.
I am. Let's see. I got a 48.
It's another D100, right?
It's another D100.
Dang it! That puts me in Militarum.
Yeah.
I think it's worth.
I think I'm gonna
losing
keep
out
it
on the XP.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it.
Oh, Misty was saying that
Yeah,
it
I
might
was
be
saying
worth it to
don't-
lose out on the
Oh.
XP.
Because you were excited about Adeptus Mechanicus.
Well, maybe my guy's like he's a Humvee mechanic.
A Humvee Mechanicus?
No,
Oh, no?
absolutely not. The
That's a-
Mechanicus handle any of your
Oh, okay.
repairs. You
All
are
right.
too dumb and stupid to be able to understand the machine spirit with it.
Oh yeah,
I'm an
that's right.
infractionist.
I want to do the
Oh, shit.
Militarum.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
you're
you
a
rolled
criminal.
Militarum?
Sorry, no, I want to
Mechanicus.
do Mechanicus.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did we get for rolling? How much XP?
75.
Dang.
Let's go around real
Oh,
quick.
shit.
And what factions did we end up getting here?
Infractionist. Sorry, were we going
No,
in a
go for
different
it.
order?
Infractionist, so criminal kind of an element.
Criminal.
That's cool.
Militarum.
Militarum, part of the guard. Makes sense. Hive World, you're more likely to be part of the guard.
A guard bee.
The Inquisition.
Ooh,
Okay.
shit.
That's
Okay.
fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited actually.
I chose Mechanicus.
Okay.
I got the Imperial Fleet.
Ooh, nice.
Got a good mix.
Mm-hmm.
So each of these have a list of benefits. You can choose the benefits. It'll be things like you gain, if you were part of the Adeptus Administorum, you would gain 5 to intelligence and 5 to perception, willpower, or fellowship. You would also be able to choose 5 advances on dexterity, linguistics, logic, lore, medicae, and navigation. I'll get to advances in just a second. You would be able to choose a data talent. You would get your choice of a couple pieces of equipment. Alternatively, there are duties that you can choose that will replace the benefits that you would normally get and give you benefits that more align to that kind of a duty.
Is there anything to roll for here?
There's nothing to roll for here.
That's fucked. Well, I guess we rolled for the
Yeah.
thing, which is this thing.
Advances. What are advances?
What are they?
I'm glad that you asked.
Mm-hmm.
You can have up to 4 advances in any of your skills or specializations. So, what is a skill versus what is a specialization? I'm glad that you asked. So, you can have, there it is. You can have your skill ranged. You could be pretty good at ranged weapons. At a certain point, you have to specialize in something. Specializing would be in long guns. So only long guns you're going to get an extra bonus to using them. So advances that you see in here, you can apply to, I believe all of them are just to skills. So they specify what skills you can apply them to. You can have up to 4 in there, and each advance gives you +5 in that skill. I said a lot of words.
Yeah.
Let's break it down pretty
Where's that gift?
pretty a little bit more. So let me take Misty, your ballistic skill.
Mhm.
What is your ballistic skill?
Sorry, 38.
38. Your character has a 38 at using ranged weapons just in general, but there's no, there actually is nothing else that ballistic skill
Nope,
also falls
ranged.
into. Well, yeah,
That's what he
ranged.
said.
Oh, sorry. Right.
Let's take a different one. Strength. Sorry.
29.
29. You have a 29 in strength. That means that you are 29 good in athletics. You are 29 good in wow, also only has one. That's fucked. But you also have a 29 strength for the purpose of melee weapons. So if you're trying to do an athletics check in this case, you have 29. That's your characteristic right there. If you have an advance in there, one advance, add 5 to that, 34. You would be able to use athletics at 34 rather than at 29.
Okay.
Now, if you had a specialization in athletics jumping with another advance of 5, your athletics of 34 because of the one advance, plus another advance because you're jumping, you would be rolling for 39. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like your base level of good gets helped with advances,
Correct.
but then that could become even more with the specializations if you have a specific
That's
thing
correct.
that you're specialized
Yes.
in. Okay.
Are we all? Does that make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
I think so.
I feel silly because I think last game I talked about trying to avoid archetypes. For me, always playing the same guy. But the Militarum has a melee class specialist. And it just sounds so cool, bro.
Yep.
Me with a chainsword, bro. Call me lucky, man.
Dude,
That would
that'd
be
be
pretty
pretty
good.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm do I want to be the same? Kind of.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I just like fighting, man.
It's a different,
which is crazy because
it's a
I was
different flavor.
I don't want to do conflict, but I'm put me in there, coach. Oh man, what an interesting character am I?
Yeah. So we already talked a little bit about the faction. Do we all feel comfortable with the equipment advances that we've gotten? I do
No.
know that some of them have talents. Just write those down. We'll fill that in a little bit later. If you
Okay.
have a choice in talents, just make a note, and again, we can fill that in a little bit later. And let me know when we're feeling ready to move on to the roll step. Okay, now that we've filled out some of this stuff, you should have seen that you've gotten your some equipment. You've started your first advances in skills, increased your characteristics even more because why not? Now we're going to go into your role. But Damien, didn't we already pick our role? No, you picked your duty. And that duty is what you did before.
Okay.
Before your patron came in and intervened. Your patron has plucked you out, and your role is why he has plucked you out. So, with this one, it's an interesting one. Guess what? You're not rolling.
Aw.
You're not rolling for your roll?
No.
Stop bothering me.
It's either you get to choose a role and gain its benefits, or allow your patron to determine your role as best fits their needs and gain 50 experience points.
Ooh,
I'm gonna do that.
that one.
I believe in you, benefactor.
Now, see, I am a most generous god.
You just don't want to make another decision.
I just don't want to make another decision. Feel free to pick whatever sounds the most interesting to you. You're going to get 50 XP anyways.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So the types of roles that we have here, feel free to look through as I am speaking. Interlocutor. This is the face man, the one who's more adept at interacting with those around him. You have the mystic. The mystic's cool because this guarantees that you will be a psyker. You have the penumbra. Misty, I'm looking at you. That's the rogue. You have the savant. You are hyper intelligent. A lot of benefits for lore, maybe tech use, things like that. You have the warrior. You hit shit. Wesley looking at you.
Yeah, you do.
And then you have the zealot, the religious light in your party. They might also be pretty good at fighting, but a lot of their stuff is a little bit more of religious leaning.
I think I'm going to go with the warrior. That seems to be where my all the characteristics and stuff seem to be lining up for me. So,
Okay, and do feel
yeah.
free if you want to choose the same role. That is fine.
Just looking at you, Wesley.
Yeah, I'm looking at
I'm
you.
torn between warrior and mystic. I don't know how mystic would work with my character
Ooh.
though.
You would be a sanctioned psyker.
Mm-hmm.
That hits hard.
I suppose you could hit hard. I mean, you're already built to hit hard.
That's why I'm I don't want to int myself. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of different psychic powers that we can choose for your character. I believe some of them can enhance your own physique.
That might be cool.
I think I'm probably gonna do warrior because I just feel like I don't know.
Follow your heart, queen.
Follow your heart, queen.
I just don't really know. I have 43 tough.
Okay.
Dang.
What is your origin?
Forge
Infractionist.
world.
Forge world, and you're an infractionist.
Yeah, I'm a criminal.
You might be a penumbra
Penumbra.
or an interlocutor.
I was looking at interlocutor, but I feel like I should rearrange some stuff and put some more stuff in fellowship.
If you rearrange some stuff, you will have to drop some XP.
Ooh.
Is there a max number of advances that we can
Assigned to one skill.
assign to one skill?
4.
4. Okay.
Oh,
that wasn't
wouldn't
just
it be
for the one thing.
rearrange? It would be
Okay.
rearranging the +5 things.
Oh, it would be
that I got.
rearranging that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be something you can do though. One other thing that I was thinking might be kind of fun, just to add a little bit more complexity to this already complex system, is there's an optional rule on here called random talents. We can roll on the random talents table, and then your character will just have that talent. There's no God Emperor changing, there's no XP to be gained. You would just get a random talent that might change what you pick during your role creation. What do we think? Do we want to do that?
No, I like picking.
This is in addition
In addition,
to everything else that you're already doing.
I kind of like that idea because it adds nuance to your character.
Yeah, it does. Its idea is that this adds another element of randomness to character creation, representing the boundless variation of humanity in the Macarian sector.
Wait, so we would get that talent in addition to our roll talent?
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, I'm down for that.
I'm tenacious.
You already rolled?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's D100, I assume.
D100, yes.
2. Wait, no, it's 2. I was like 102. That's not right. I have an acute sense. Augers.
Yeah, and we'll move into some of the talents on a later page. They start on page 102 if you guys need help with like choosing what your talents are going to be. This is going to be quite a lengthy, like a time-consuming piece of like looking through all of this. So we will take another pause here, and we'll come back with whatever random talents we rolled and whatever roll talents we chose. Sound good?
yeah, sounds good.
All right. Okay. Now that we have filled out a little bit about our characters, let's go around and just mention maybe like the coolest aspects of your characters. You don't feel like you need to talk about your entire character, every little thing that you've done, but just whatever highlights you want to talk about.
So my guy is Adeptus Mechanicus, and he has started making that transition into becoming more machine than man. So he has an augmetic eye and an augmetic heart. The eye gives me some bonuses to any test involving sight. And then the heart, I can stop my own bleeding sometimes.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, so I do like a fortitude check, and depending on how bad the bleeding is, I get a plus whatever to it.
Nice.
And then I am also a surgeon, essentially. I can perform amputations. I have advantage when I'm treating critical wounds, which will be cool. And then I also have this attentive assistant, because I wasn't the main mechanic on this ship. I was the assistant. And so whenever I use the help action, I can use the help action anytime, even if I don't have points in the skill. And I'm guessing that's a requirement usually.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have points in that skill, the person automatically gets 1 success level.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so like if I'm helping someone with a dexterity based check, for example, I have 1 point in that skill, so they would automatically get that 1 success level, and then whatever I roll for it.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the main stuff with my guy. I wasn't expecting to become a medic, but then like all of the like I am fixing myself, like the flesh is weak type stuff started to come out as I was building it, and I kind of like being a medic. So
Or maybe the Omnissiah guided you to your true
exactly
intentions.
my true calling.
Misty?
Hi, I'm Misty.
I'm an alcoholic.
I'm a rogue.
That surprised.
I'm
No,
shocked.
No one's surprised. Funny enough, though, I did roll for everything on my character. It's just the
Yeah.
God Emperor wanted this for
Yeah.
me. He wanted me to be a rogue.
His divine light has shown a pretty clear and tried and true path.
Exactly. I really like the way that this book outlines the penumbra, which is the rogue
Mhm.
equivalent. And the reason I like it is because it's pretty choose your own adventure. And as I was reading it, I was like, oh, cool. Like I could be more like a 007 type, or I could be like a true classic sneak thief or whatever. And so some of the things that I ended up picking, I was trying to create a rogue that maybe I haven't necessarily played before. So one of the things that I picked was read lips, which basically is what it says. But what's cool is that even if I can't hear somebody, I can still see what they're saying. I also got the ambidextrous talent because I like the idea of being able to pretend I'm somebody that I'm not by using one of my hands as like my primary hand.
Ooh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh, that's smart.
And then I also have a talent called Secret Identity, which Damien and I are going to figure out off mic. But essentially, I blend in with another faction for purposes that are unknown to me right now in this moment. But my job essentially is to blend in and do the whole Inquisition thing secretly. So
Nice.
My character's cool, probably. I'm like, as we make the character, I'm fleshing out like a headcanon, which may or may not reflect the final product. But because they're from the Militarum, I imagine that they would just fight a lot, and then through fighting like creatures of the warp, they awaken their own innate psychic abilities, and that lended it to like, because they were just so used to fighting that they just happen like it just lended itself to like physical augmentation or biological augmentation. So they're very heavily focused in both like melee fighting, and like most of my advancements are spent either in like melee fighting or like psycho related skills. And in my headcanon, also because they like dealt with the warp a lot, that's why I took the mental fortress talent, which like basically makes me take less psychic damage and no one can read my mind. And I'm a sanctioned psyker, so it's okay.
Yeah, that is a really important thing because in the lore of Warhammer 40K, psychers are dangerous. Like
Yeah,
to
I
no
am.
fault of their own, right? If you have the like psychic talents, you're drawing on energies of absolute chaos. And if you're not trained in that, you could quite literally just open like an ever pouring portal to the warp, and fucking demons and shit come crawling out, killing everything around you.
And then
Just
you're playing Doom.
then you're playing Doom at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, like to no fault of the psychers own. Psychers are dangerous if kept unchecked.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to have a license.
They have to have a license or be killed.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I like
Yeah.
living, so
Sacrifice to the God Emperor.
the Emperor.
It's not a bad way to go.
True.
Um,
Simply become soup.
Stevie?
Yeah, I made a character. They exist.
Yeah, they do.
Sorry, I'm like trying to figure out the equipment stuff.
Oh.
Sorry if I went ahead.
No, it's okay.
I used, I think, some of my XP to get 2 advances into leadership, which is a specialization with the skill presence. And I was also able to do charm. So I got those so I could do the talents overseer and gallows humor.
Oh, gallows humor is fun. As you say a lot of like horrid jokes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, someone's like stunned and they're just like, that sucks. But like better than that, you say an actual joke.
That's rough, buddy.
So yeah, and I'm sorry, I knew all this stuff like 15 minutes ago.
No, you're good.
but I'm kind of like
Well,
a
like,
support.
Yeah, what is your
Overseer
role again?
is I can help them.
You're like the tactical.
Kind of like overseeing
The
the
chess
mind
player.
of the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Okay, I finally found the talent. So I was like, Overseer. I'm practiced in instructing others to work just as well as myself. As an action, I may I don't know what the challenging +0.
I can explain that here real quick. So when I ask you to make checks, I need to also tell you what kind of a check it is. If I tell you that you need to see whether you can like identify what garb someone is wearing from like pretty far away, I might say like, oh, you know what? It's a sunny day. Whatever. You can probably kind of see it. Make a routine awareness check. Routine, you pretend that your skill is 20 points higher, and then you roll.
Ooh.
Or maybe it's a little bit more challenging, like you're trying to hit a guy with a chainsword. Challenging, no modifiers to your roll. Or then I could say like a difficult roll, -20. So you
Dang.
pretend like your skill is lower when you're trying to make your check.
Yeah.
So when you're looking through the book, you'll see like routine checks, challenging checks, and like difficult checks for
So-
some of the different skills.
So I do a challenging leadership test to aid an ally or a subordinate. If I succeed, the target may use my skill instead of their own for the next test they make.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And then there's other stuff.
Nice.
Air of authority and distracting.
Okay. Now, what is distracting? Because I think
Distract-
that one's like
Distracting is the one that I rolled at random.
Oh,
So you get to interrupt someone making a test and they get disadvantage.
ooh.
And in combat, you can use it as a reaction.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good.
So you're both distracting.
Yes.
yeah.
Good.
I'm just like real good at it.
And then I'm seeing air of authority. The first time you meet a group, you can make a challenging presence or rapport test. On a success, you get +1 influence with that group until the end of the mission. That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of like, I want people to like me, or I want people to be distracted by how much they don't like me.
Yeah, that's nice. And lastly,
I am a feral world Imperial fleet armsman, which is kind of cool. I am going to be the warrior here, so I'm going to be good with a shotgun and good with a chainsword. But he's pretty gruff, so not really good in the fellowship there. So he's going to be, he's seen it all, and he's a grizzled veteran with no time for idiots that might get him killed out there. So I did get fated, which means I'm lucky. That was the one I rolled for randomly. So it gives me 1 extra fate point because it means that I'm either blessed by the emperor or perhaps have the eye of the chaos gods upon me, the dark powers.
probably
So,
Zinch. That sounds
probably
like something
Zinch,
Zinch would do.
exactly. Yeah. Ooh, or maybe I've got Wesley's girl Slanesh over there.
Don't say.
Look
I
at-
knew you were gonna say it. I was like, don't you dare.
so yeah,
Um,
I'm pretty much going to be like the tank because I've got a really high toughness and really good with a chain sword. So
I do want to make a quick note about fate. With fate, everyone starts with 3 fate,
Not him.
except for Phil. Phil starts with 4 because he is fated.
count it.
And with fate, you can do a bunch of like kind of crazy shit. So you can spend fate, and when you spend fate, your maximum doesn't go down. You just spend it, and you can do one of like a myriad of different effects. Effects like you get advantage on this roll, or like you can re-roll, or something to that effect. You get like an extra success level, and these would refresh during like between missions.
Okay.
Back up to, I think, up to your maximum.
Are most of our sessions going to be one mission, or is the entire like campaign one mission?
No, the campaign is going to take place over several missions.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
the other thing is you can also burn fate, where you reduce your maximum, but you can do really crazy shit. Like, instead of you roll and you're like, wow, I rolled a 100 on this die. That's really bad. You know what? I'm going to burn a fate and I'm going to pick 001. That's my roll. And hey, that's your roll. But now your maximum fate is brought down.
Okay.
That's cool.
I like that there's a choice there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, I think. And don't worry, I'm gonna bring like a cheat sheet for you guys as well. That is gonna really help with all of the different like rules and different conditions and things like that.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Now that we have done all of the mechanical aspects of our character, well, most of the mechanical aspects for our character, now we're going to add detail. Now, for those of you who are really into chaos, or sorry, not chaos, the God Emperor's divine vision
I'm really into
for
XP.
you, you can roll for a name.
Oh.
Yeah, so no more XP generation at this point, but you can roll for your name. There's low Gothic, high Gothic, archaic, informal, and esoteric names that you can roll for. This is all for you, those following along at home. This is all on page 82.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry about all my paper sounds.
Don't be. They're fine.
The listeners love it.
Yeah, they told me.
I texted you.
Yeah.
Well, they shouldn't be talking. They should be listening.
Damn.
Chill out.
Holy cow.
I really love having a name generator, even though I'm not using it. Because like sometimes you get into a setting and you're like, man, I don't know what water tribe names sound like,
Yeah.
or I don't know what Xenos, orc
Yeah, you don't
names
want to
are.
like land in like the setting of hell and fucking Doom or some shit.
Jeff.
And there's Beelzebub, Mephistopheles, and then Randy.
Dude, is Randy though? He'll tell you to get to
Randy's
the back of the line every time. You only got one thing wrong on the form, and he's like, "No, back of the line every single time."
I'm telling you, Randy's the one you got to watch out for.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
be Drusilla.
He's got something to prove.
That's a pretty name. Is there any way to know, like, are different worlds more likely to have a certain kind of name, or is it just
Well, like feral worlds would probably have more archaic names. But it really just depends. I would imagine like a hive world would probably have more informal names for one another,
Bones.
as they're more used to just interacting with people of their own status. One of the options
decided
on
to make one.
esoteric is simply the letter X.
Yeah,
I saw
like
that. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to pick the informal name I rolled.
Which is?
Star, with 2 R's.
Oh, nice.
I like it
I'm
too
a
because I
little-
haven't picked a gender for my character yet, and Star seems like a very gender neutral name.
Yeah.
I went with Gore Tasman.
Gore Tasman. Ooh.
Was that also on the list, or did you just
No,
know that
I
off
made
your
it up.
brain?
That's out of my brain.
Whoa. I wish
I
I,
like
had a
it.
Yeah,
brain.
Gore is his first name. Tasman is his family name,
Oh shit! I didn't even consider a
Ooh.
last
or
name.
his tribe name, his tribal name, because I came from a feral world.
Oh, true,
Mm.
true.
Yeah, so he's Gore from the Tasman tribe.
Fuck yeah.
I am Ares Martello.
Nice. You know what? Ares makes a lot of sense for Mechanicus too.
Yeah?
Well,
So
war machines.
okay,
But
yeah. Ares is the god of war, and then Martello is hammer.
Also,
Portuguese.
Ares, I believe, is also Mars.
Yes, Ares is Mars.
Okay.
Okay, I'm wrong.
They are close. Ares is less of a military might
Oh,
and
got
more
purple
of
turf.
a just combat focused like violence in general, whereas Mars is more of a structured military, structured violence type commander. There is some difference between the Roman and the Greek gods.
Yeah.
But
The
not
reason
much.
the reason that that's important is because the Mechanicus originated on Mars.
Yeah.
Hey.
Mhm. It's part of the reason I picked the name.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Mars
a-
is such a cool name.
Yeah.
When I played a MMO forever ago, my character's name was Mars. That's all.
That's really
That's
cool.
a cool fucking name.
Who else's names did we need to get? I think Stevie and Misty,
Drusilla.
Drusilla.
She was the first one to get named.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got you, queen.
And then
Wes is
Misty,
the
do you
only
want
one
more
listening.
time? Like
I
we
do,
don't have
yeah.
to
I
pick this now.
this is something that I take very seriously.
No, that's fair.
I don't want to be rushed. So
Yeah, and don't feel like you need to be set in stone on these names. Like we have some time to figure that out. Next up, I mean, we can roll for age, we can roll for eye type, we can roll for hair, we can roll for distinguishing features. Yes.
I'm so sorry. Back to names real quick. I just saw this. I'm sorry if somebody brought this up because I kind of wasn't fully listening. But one of the names you can roll in the esoteric column is reject, and I just feel like that's very important.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that is good.
So
Oh,
anyway, continue.
So we can roll age, eye type, hair, distinguishing feature. Would we like to do that on mic, or would we like to just maybe do that later?
I'm cool with off mic if you guys
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, we can introduce
Yeah.
our
I know my
characters.
distinguishing feature. I chose it before.
Okay.
I didn't know it was something I could roll.
What is it?
I want to I want to have heterochromia.
Oh,
Dude,
sick.
heterochromia
nice.
is so fucking cool.
Blue, like a dark blue, and black.
Okay.
Ooh,
In
okay.
that regard, too, as far as like your character description, the character goals, where your character will have your own personal like short-term and long-term goals. Upon completing a short-term goal, you would gain 50 experience points. Upon achieving a long-term goal, you can earn 500 experience points and choose a new long-term goal, or you can retire your character as they have
Dang.
achieved whatever wishes that they may have had.
Oh.
Types of short-term goals are take it revenge against a gang, uncover the criminal behind a series of thefts, acquire a replacement for your shattered chainsword. So like relatively minor stuff. Long-term goals are like take control of a major criminal cartel, ruin a rogue trader dynasty, and acquire its warrant of trade. Now that would be fucking hard.
That'd be wild.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be kind of
Yeah.
cool?
Destroy a major cult of the ruinous powers. These are like pretty massive things that your character might have. But this is something that I would like you all individually to look into. Maybe as you're getting like to know your character a little bit more, what you want those goals to be. If you want to even choose those goals, maybe after we start playing, I think that would also be acceptable.
Okay.
Uh,
So-
next, yep,
No, I was gonna say, so appearance and goals. Then we're probably gonna just get with you off mic.
yes.
It sounds like okay, cool.
And it's something that we can like introduce come session 1.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Then there's also connections, which is they suggest that you determine at least 2 connections, one to another player character and one to your patron, and you can roll a d100 on this table. And there's things like I owe blank a significant sum of solars, or blank asked me to betray someone close to us, or blank I saved blank's life.
A really cool one I see here is I am positive I saw blank die. That's a really cool connection.
Yeah.
That's
That is
that's
pretty
just
dope.
chills.
This one I will also say we can do off mic. The nice thing about connections is that this is the perspective of your character. So your character may think that your patron owes you a significant sum of solars. Let me tell you, the patron's not going to pay you a significant sum of solars. But I think that's another thing that we can do off mic, along with the 10 questions. There's 10 questions, such as what is your faith? What is your family? These are all things to just like really help flesh out and make you think a bit more about your character and what your character does.
I like that that's part of character
Me too.
creation because I feel like
Divinations.
sometimes it's hard to like it's best practice to kind of do that on your own with your character anyway, but sometimes it's hard to come up with things that you want to know about
Mhm.
your character. So I like it when the player's guides actually ask you questions that fit the setting.
Yeah, I like it too because it's like I feel like for a lot of people that are like newer to TTRPGs, it's easy to just get into like the fighting aspects of it or the mechanical aspects of it. And it can be really hard for people to start role playing like in earnest or like, for longer periods of time. But I feel like having these questions really do help you like get into that a little more.
Yeah, I really like the last 3 questions on here. What do you think of your patron?
Mm.
What do you hate?
Ooh.
And what will you sacrifice? All right, moving on. Finishing touches. So, maximum wounds. This is the maximum amount of hits that you can take before you start taking critical wounds. So when you start losing wounds, don't think that if you hit 0, you're going to die. It's just when you hit 0, you're going to start taking critical wounds. This is when you lose a finger, you lose an arm, you start having some pretty serious internal bleeding, all of that fun stuff.
That's also like the Star Wars RPG. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, because every time you take a hit, you get like worse and worse
Strength
critical
bonus.
wounds. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So your maximum wounds are equal to your strength bonus. Now, keep in mind when I talk about characteristic bonuses, that's just the tens place.
Mhm.
So your strength bonus plus twice your toughness bonus plus your willpower bonus.
Would it be wise if we haven't spent all of our XP to wait and then calculate our?
If you'd like, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna do. I think I'll just get with you after and do some of that stuff.
Sounds good. Then you have, and you can write this down on the second page. There's an initiative and wounds up here,
Oh, it even has the
and it has the little calculation
math,
already written
yeah.
there.
Which I also appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah.
Because you know how sometimes you'll be making a character and then you don't review it for a while, and then you're like, how did I
Yeah, why is
get
this the number?
Yeah. I like that there's the math already
Mhm.
there, so you can be like, oh yeah, that's how we got to this point. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's critical wounds. You can suffer a number of critical wounds equal to your toughness bonus before you die. Then there is your initiative, which is your perception bonus plus your agility bonus. Kind of similar to Fallout, we do not roll for initiative. We just have a static initiative. Then there's fate. We already talked a little bit about that. You normally start with 3. Phil, you'll start with 4. And then we get into handedness. You need to pick which one is your dominant hand, unless you are ambidextrous.
I'm so happy. I've always wanted to be ambidextrous in real life.
And this is because when you make a test using only your offhand, you make the test with disadvantage. Doesn't matter what the test is.
Cool. Okay.
And now, this is the last thing that we're going to roll on. Divination. I'm going to read directly from the book. Death is inevitable. You'll roll once on the table to determine your divination, a powerful portent your character received during their life, or perhaps a phrase of doctrine that has always seemed to resonate with them. If your character's death reflects their divination, your next character begins play with bonus XP equal to half the deceased character's total XP.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
That is cool.
I've never seen a mechanic like that, I don't think. And it's like pretty unlikely, but there's a chance.
But that's the thing, is if you can pitch it to me that it lines up.
I'm so excited. Okay, so we roll
D100s. This is on page 89 for those following along at home.
Is this something that we are good to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just didn't know if it was supposed to be secret.
Ooh.
If you want to keep it secret, you can. But I don't foresee any reason on my end to keep it secret.
Listen,
I got reason.
mine is-
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say mine is Reason is the cloak of traitors.
Ooh. Yeah, and each of these divinations are just so obscure that they can probably fit with most things, but maybe not.
I got heresy begets retribution.
Ooh.
Oh.
I got trust in your zeal. It is a weapon, with no equal.
That feels
Mm.
very right for you as a
Mhm.
Yeah.
human.
I
I
like
got-
it. I like it a lot.
There are no bystanders in war, only soldiers and traitors.
Damn.
Oh,
Ooh.
Damn.
shit.
Civilian casualties? What civilian casualties?
What civilians? You mean those heretics?
The one I got is call no one happy until they are dead.
Damn.
Oof. These are like
Yeah.
just fucked up fortune cookies.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
I'd love that.
I would love to get one of these in a fortune cookie. It's
Yeah.
definitely go hard.
Can
These
you
are
imagine how
cool.
ominous that would be?
Only in death does duty end.
Right.
You open up a fortune cookie and it says that.
The emperor
Hatred.
will judge you not by your medals, but by your scars.
Hatred is the emperor's greatest gift to humanity.
Damn.
Whoa.
That'd be a great fortune cookie.
I love that. Yeah, I thought that the emperor will judge you not by your medals but by your scars. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
A
okay.
coward
goes hard.
seeks compromise.
Is that yours?
No.
Oh.
That's just
Mhm.
one of them.
At this point, then, we have effectively finished character creation. The last little aspect is advancement. So at the very end, we got experience points for trusting in Biggie himself. And you can now spend those experience points on advancing your character. So you can increase your characteristic. It does say, unless otherwise stated, the characteristic of a normal human cannot rise above 60. And then we can also spend experience points on advances for skills or for specializations. Keep in mind, each advance represents +5 in that skill or specialization. And the last thing that you can purchase with experience points is a new talent, but that costs 100 experience points. Do note there are some talents in here that you can only gain at character creation.
Does this count as character creation still?
Yes, it does.
Good. Okay.
That's where I got the ambidextrous thing. I went ahead. I apologize.
So
No,
if we
that's all good.
put our faith in the God Emperor in choosing this, we get 200, right? All told.
That's
if we
correct.
did- always,
If
okay.
you let Big E choose everything for you, 200 at the end.
Cool.
Yeah. And that I think we can do probably off mic. I think we talked a bit about
Yeah.
all of those concepts.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're good there. And with that, we're at the end of character creation.
Damn.
That's wild.
Excellent.
This was actually not
Exciting.
as. Oh, I'm so sorry.
All I said was exciting. I'm sorry. That was.
Oh, no. No, you're good.
Mine was
I just didn't
pointless.
want to cut you off.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
This was a lot easier to do than I was expecting it to be, because Warhammer is pretty crunchy as a war game. So I was expecting character creation to be equally crunchy,
Mhm.
you know, like Mutants and Masterminds level of crunchy.
To be fair, I think this is far crunchier than like a D&D character
Mm.
creation.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
feels like,
Yeah,
you know,
a little
so
bit.
yeah, which is kind of what it is. And I think, but you're right. Like you Warhammer can get very crunchy. So, but I guess this can also get pretty crunchy, you know, like going down if I'm using a long gun versus like a pistol, it's got, all those extra things. So it feels like this is like appropriately Warhammer-esque crunchy.
I think it's cool that you say that too, because it just put into perspective for me right now, like my perspective on what is and isn't like crunchy or complicated in character creation
Mhm.
shifts the more games we play.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's neat.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I'm just excited because Warhammer.
I can't wait to be
Same.
a psyker with a big bicep.
Honestly, are there? Oh, I guess some of the Inquisitors also have psychic abilities, and they're kind of like they hit hard.
Yeah, they seemed pretty cool. I'm not one of them,
Yeah.
though.
After this point, I would highly recommend trying to research a little bit more about your character. And if you wouldn't mind just writing some kind of little blurb about your character and send it to me, I would appreciate it. It will help.
You mean just like an about me or like a blurb backstory?
Blurb about me, backstory, just whatever you want me to know about your character.
Okay.
If it's backstory stuff, I'll try and incorporate it in. If it's about me, I'll try and add something to incorporate in. Yeah.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
Obviously, that's something that you as the GM would want. Phil, with you having this cool ability to paint minis for us, would you like something like that, or would you just like the stats that we have for our character, like the age, eyes, hair type things?
I would absolutely love a background story for what you guys have going on, just to like, and we can certainly talk about what we want the characters to look like, because I really am excited about this, because this is part of the miniature wargaming community is kit bashing and converting models into something that you want for your specific goal. And I think this would be an incredible opportunity to flex into like the hobby aspect of miniature wargaming, to create the characters for this game. And I would love to have that be like a discussion back and forth and figure out what we want our characters to look like, so we can create models and miniatures that reflect what you have in mind for what you want your characters to look like.
Cool. Okay.
Do you want us to redact anything from what we send to Phil, or are you cool if we just send him the same blurb?
Phil, you're not going to use outside game knowledge in game, right?
No, probably not. I probably wouldn't do anything anyway.
Yeah, then we're chilling.
Sick.
If there's something that you want me specifically to know, obviously send it my way, but I'll leave that discretion up to you all.
Yeah, if you don't want me to know something, just leave it out. But otherwise, I promise not to, suddenly jump to your weaknesses in the middle of that as I turn on you unexpectedly. Make my
Little
heel
do you
turn.
all know that we have a conversation going.
Yeah, they're DMing right now.
Exactly.
Can you believe
my character's middle name is actually Slanesh.
Wesley, you had a question?
I answered it in my head, which I shouldn't have, because I'm not Phil. Because I was gonna ask if you're okay with us if you want us to hit you up like as a group when it comes to character like designs possibly, or if you're okay with us pulling you aside one-on-one. But then I was like,
either which way.
He's probably fine with us messaging you one-on-one. And then
either that or together. So. It doesn't make whatever you'd like to do. I'm down for any of it. So, nice. I enjoyed this. So it's not like I'm wanting to avoid you guys. So
cool.
That's good.
With that, I mean, Phil, plug away.
Oh yeah. So speaking of miniature wargaming, again, if you forgot from the beginning of this character creation, I have a YouTube channel called the Glacial Geek, where I do all things miniature wargaming and predominantly Warhammer focused, Warhammer 40K focused. So if you're looking to get into if you're using this as an excuse to get into the wargaming aspect of nerddom, please feel free to come on over. And even if you're not, and you're just interested in hearing some doofus talk out of his butt about all sorts of fun, nerdy things, come on over as well. There's plenty of room for everybody. So,
what's your army?
Oh, Dark Angels are my main boys. They're the ones they're my main army that I started with, and they're the ones I keep going with. So I'm very, very happy with my Sons of the Lion. They are from Caliban.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
This is making me want to play again, bro.
Ooh, it's
we
good.
Got it, man.
It's good. Like I said, Kill Team has a starter set out now. They just have a new edition that started up. It's the perfect time to jump in.
Misty was just talking about how she wanted to play Kill Team.
So I think I'm actually going to try Warcry.
Ooh, Warcry's fun too.
I think you brought that up before, I think.
Yeah.
But
I have to learn. So it might be a minute. I'll check in.
Cool.
Well,
all right.
I've played them too, so I can definitely be more than happy to corrupt you guys into becoming wargamers as well.
Hell yeah.
I'm down, man. I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm sure Nova would appreciate that, honestly.
true.
Exactly.
All right. And with that, I mean, that's it.
You guys stink.
Yeah, thank you. I was about to say, you guys smell like shit.
We'll
hey,
see
I
you
finally don't
next
stink because
time.
I'm part of this now.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Doses.
Later.
ya.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
Hi.
Fucking
Sorry.
She just
So
came. I don't know where she was. She
Yeah, she
just
was
came
gone.
Just came back.
Can I do the transition noise?
I'm gonna cut it out if it's in the middle of this. I'm being honest.
All right, actually, we're gonna keep that one.
I was gonna say that's our guest star. You can't cut that out.
But then I had to listen to like
All of
15
this.
minutes of this.
Well, no, you don't.
You know how much time that'll waste? 15
15
minutes.
yeah, I know.